Welcome back to another chapter of the Advanced Project Management Certification. Once again, I'm your host, Ibby Taylor. Now in this chapter, we're going to be looking at project integration management. Now the key focus of this is the word integration. It's about bringing things together, integrating things, creating cohesion and bonds between everything. Be that internal resource, business units, external stakeholders, everything. It's about integrating and bringing together everything you can. So as it says here, Project Integration Management, or PIM for short, is the backbone of project management, ensuring that all facets of a project work cohesively to achieve its objectives. So unlike specific knowledge areas like cost management or risk management, PIM encompasses the art and science of uniting these distinct components to create a unified whole. It's all about cohesion and bringing them together. It involves synchronizing project plans, resources, timelines, and stakeholder expectations while managing conflicts, balancing competing demands, and adapting to changes. Essentially, PIM ensures that project decisions align with the overall goals and scope of the entire project. So a few key points here. So, develop project charter. So the document that formally authorises the project exists at the heart of integration. It outlines the purpose, objectives, assumptions, constraints, and primary stakeholders. Without it, the project has no official groundwork. This is like the foundation of your project. And everyone knows in order to build something strong, you need to have solid foundations. So the significance, it aligns key stakeholders and what the project intends to achieve and why. So for a school construction project, the charter could specify the scope of building 10 classrooms, outline a £2 million budget, or dollar budget, and designate the superintendent as the project sponsor. So note, the charter should focus on strategic alignment, uniting project goals with organisational objectives. So it's bringing together not only what the school wants, which is to build 10 classrooms, it's also bringing in the financial element and the budget. It's going to outline the budget, and it's also going to designate the primary stakeholders to ensure that you know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it in some cases, how you're going to do it, what budget you're going to run to, and who's going to be the project sponsor, who are the key stakeholders involved in this project. So develop a management plan. So this process involves consolidating subsidiary plans. So you've got your risk plan, your communications, your schedule management into a single coherent document. It's a living artifact meant to evolve as the project progresses, especially if you're running agile. This is something that will change as the project goes through because things change. Delivery changes, deliverables change. The needs and wants and requirements of the customer can also change. Factors that play a part, internal and external, to your project might also change and again have an impact on your project. Therefore, your management and your initiation and your planning needs to change. So the baseline for the scope, schedule baseline, cost baseline, performance objectives are the key components to your project management plan. So we've got an example. If working on an e-commerce website development, the plan would include cost parameters, milestones for design, testing and launch, and contingency reserves for potential delays in deployment. So the focus is on using iterative approaches where changes integrate seamlessly into the plan. And this is very prevalent in development. When you're coding things, when you're designing things, it's so easy for things to change. You know, you think you've delivered something, someone else goes to bolt on what they've coded and it just doesn't work. And then plans have to change in order to work around. So, direct and manage project work. So this process coordinates activities to fulfill the project management plan successfully. It involves problem solving, motivating teams, addressing risks, managing issues, and delivering outputs. Now, the role of integration in this ensures that all teams are working towards a unified goal. This is goals that are outlined in your strategic documents. So, for example, during the global rollout of a new product, marketing teams must sync their efforts with supply chain operations, ensuring promotional campaigns align with inventory readiness. So, imagine if you're running a campaign for a new shoe. You've got your adverts going live, you've got billboards, you've got sporting events covered, but then you don't have the stock to fulfill it. Or the website that you're trying to launch on isn't ready for launch. And it has happened before. So tools like job tracking software, real-time collaboration dashboards, and situational updates streamline this task. And you've got boards like Trello and Asana, which are live real-time dashboards. When someone does something, completes something, or moves something from one status to another, the whole team sees that in real time. So manage project knowledge. Knowledge management ensures that lessons learned and institutional knowledge are properly utilised, reducing redundancy and fostering innovative problem solving. Now this is key. Lessons learned is key within projects, and it's some of the most invaluable information. If you can find lessons learned from a project similar to what you're delivering now and bring that into your planning, and you can take what they learned when they delivered what they did, it's going to be absolutely invaluable. So explicit versus tacit knowledge. Documents such as manuals form explicit knowledge, while team member insights embody tacit knowledge. Now, a company transitioning to agile methodologies applies past knowledge of traditional development approaches to design hybrid models that suit specific projects. It's exactly what I touched on when it comes to lessons learned. You know, we've done something similar before. What happened last time? What happened when we tried to deliver this? What happened when we tried to build this, to code this, to whatever it is? What went wrong? What were the risks? What were the successes? How can we take that and build upon it? How can we build upon the successes but reduce the risks and leading to a better project this time around? So monitor and control project work. So here project managers will track, review and regulate progress to ensure alignment with objectives. Frequent updates to project metrics and KPIs are critical. So the process: extract performance data, compare against project management plans and identify corrective actions. So it's all about looking at your progress. How are you doing? What's going on? You know, are you in line with the plan that you set out to deliver? Or do you need to change? Do you need to do something differently? So we've got an example: if a hybrid electric vehicle development hits unforeseen regulatory roadblocks, comparing actual costs to budgeted values flags the need for schedule adjustments. So this happens in every industry, in every project. You might be hit by something unforeseen. And at that point, it's key to take a step back and understand, okay, right, how do we work around this? Is it a timeline thing? Do we need to push back? Do we need to delay and let the customer know? Do we need to bring on more resource? Do we actually, can we keep to the same timeline with more resource, but more resource needs more budget? Where are we at in line with the budget? These are all things that you're going to have to work on the fly. And this is where the leadership of a strong project manager really comes into its own, because they're available to look at what's going on, to look at the wider picture, and to figure out the solutions for these problems. Now, perform integrated change control. So decisions about changes in project scope, schedule or budget happen here. This ensures every alteration is necessary, beneficial and doesn't disrupt the overall cohesion. So this is similar to what I just touched on in the slide previously. Change control will happen. Whether it's to scope, schedule, budget, it could be to all three. But it's all about being a strong project manager, taking initiative, understanding your project and what you need to deliver, and making sure that your change control is relevant, adds value, and will keep your project moving forward. So key considerations: stakeholder assessment, cost-benefit analysis, and risk impact assessment. So midway in bridge construction, a request to add decorative arches must balance architectural aspirations with financial and schedule implications. And again, this happens all the time. This just, it reminds me of every silly customer request that I've ever received. And if any customers are watching, the request wasn't silly, it was perfect. Thank you. But, you're halfway through a project and then a customer sends you an email and says, oh, actually, so I forgot about this. Can we add this in? And you've just got to take a step back and go, right, okay, time for a change control. But what does this mean in terms of the scope, in terms of the timeline of delivery, in terms of the cost? Do I have enough resource to deliver it? Is it even possible to deliver? Does it fit in with what I've built so far? Do I need to roll things back? There are so many things that need to be considered when dealing with a change control. And then you've got to close a project or a phase of the project. And the closure phase solidifies project reflections and facilitates benefit realization. And this is going to be key from a customer standpoint, because every project needs to have a benefit realization and a cost benefit realization. when they realise the benefit of the money that they've spent. You know, they've spent X amount of $1,000 to get something. And at each phase of that project, you deliver more and more. So more and more of their cost is then having its benefit realised as they're receiving more for it. So this involves finalising deliverables, releasing resources, and conducting lessons learned exercises. So for a hospital project, closure includes documenting patient room designs, delivering as-built drawings, and addressing final equipment expenditures. So it's wrapping everything up in a nice bow. Now you've got some applications here. I'm not going to run through all of them. We will go through a few. But do go through the rest. Try and read and understand the application. So new product development. The scenario, a company develops a smartphone within a competitive timeline. Now the contribution of the integration is going to align engineers with marketers to ensure product features resonate with branding strategies. Tools used, Jira, it's great for planning, Slack for team alignments and communication, and the result is an enhanced time to market without compromising technical quality. So I mean, if you think about that, that's hugely prominent. You know, within the smartphone market, you watch an advert for a smartphone and it's always about the product features. It's always about how many megapixels the camera has, how many pixels the screen has, how many hertz the refresh rate is, how much RAM and storage it's got. You know, those are key. And it's all about aligning the technical side with the marketing, with the sales, and having a unified front to ensure a cohesive project. So have a look at the rest of these and have a little look at where the contribution from integration happens and where that cohesion comes in to create benefits to the project that wouldn't have existed if you hadn't integrated those things together and brought them together and created those bonds. Have a little read through. Once you get to the end, you'll get to the summary tables, and of course, have a look through just to confirm your understanding of this and confirm your understanding of integration. It's all about cohesion and bonding and synchronization between units. After the summary tables, of course, you will get onto your practice questions. Give these a go. See how you get on. If for any reason you struggle with anything we've touched on in the integration chapter, of course, do reach out to us. Read things over again. Watch the video again. Any questions or queries, by all means, reach out to us. But thank you very much for your time. I've been your host, Ibby Taylor, and once again, I'll see you in the next one.